even though we left about a half an hour late because it's morning. Lo and behold, we're right on schedule. And then we encountered a where-I-go that we couldn't find, so we fell a half an hour behind schedule. But it gave us a really good sense of, okay, well, it is a Sunday night. Are we going to get back into enough time to have a decent night's sleep before work the following day? So the ETA is really critical. And the other nice thing about it too is it's not completely automated. So if you know that you're going to be leaving a place at a certain time, and you want to say, okay, well, don't expect me to stay at this place for a half an hour. Even if you're calculating the time to be 5 minutes, I know I'm going to be at the next place at Y because I have an appointment there. You can actually go in and override it, just like the calculated times for the caches. Some where-I-goes are play anywhere, right? So the system, the algorithm doesn't know that it's a play anywhere, so they're just going to look at the DT rating. Well, if you've already solved it and it's basically going to be an LPC, it's not going to take you half an hour to find it, hopefully. So you can then override it and just say, oh, it's only going to take me 3 minutes. And you can get a much better sense as far as how your trip is going to go. All right, just checking time. Does anybody, how many people who are actually paying attention, how many people, that wasn't the question though. We could try that. How many people have actually tried using Cachetur? Just out of curiosity. And how many of you, this is the first time you've ever even heard the word Cachetur? Okay, that's awesome too. So I'm glad that you're all here and hearing a little bit about it. I'll be around, so I did a class back in Virginia, and it was a 2-hour class, and we didn't really think that anybody would want to sit in this weather under this tent for 2 hours and try to use the internet, because I don't know if anybody's been able to get onto Wi-Fi. I haven't been able to, sort of. It's a little bit, the data's a little slow generally. So anyway, we just decided, you know what, let's tell you a little bit about Cachetur. Since it is a free website, we're sort of hoping that people will just go and sign up. There's no obligation to do anything or pay anything. There are no ads. I promise that we don't spam you. And sort of feel it out and see what it's about. We have 2 other U.S. ambassadors currently, and we're talking to potentially a third. TWLARE, Wendy, she just raised her hand. She's over in the Washington State, north of Seattle area. And Rich Reagan over here in the front is in the San Francisco Bay Area. So if you guys are from the West Coast or the East Coast, we sort of have you covered. We're working on the Midwest right now. But really what we're trying to do is get out, let you guys know what the site is. We've got a great user forum, both on Facebook as well as through the Cachetur website itself. So as you start playing around with it and you have questions, response time is somewhat unbelievable. It's based, I guess I should have started. The reason that if you come up and actually look, there's a dog tag here. It's not just a fake trackable number. The .no after Cachetur is because it's actually based in Norway. It was created by a Norwegian geocacher, Tom Frey, for his own use, and then for his geocaching organization, and then it grew. And last September is when they translated it into English. And so that's why the US is just starting to use it a little bit more now. But it's fully supported. As I said at the outset, it works with the geocaching API. So that's what really makes it quite powerful. And the other thing is, if you are going to play around with it, I recommend doing it on a computer as opposed to a tablet or a phone, because that Cachetur assistant script requires a PC or a Mac browser.
No.
It requires JavaScript. So Rich has actually, he's also a programmer, and so he's actually put together some bookmarklets that you can use to add, to sort of emulate a little bit of what the Cachetur assistant does.
On mobile devices.
Pardon me?
Works on mobile devices.
On mobile devices. It doesn't overlay the route. It's just to be able to add the caches in, so that you don't have to do it manually through the Cachetur website. But it is a great tool, and there's a lot of resources out there. We're working on developing the Help Center a little bit more. But you really, if you start to play around with it, it's one of those things where there are so many features, it may not necessarily be intuitive at first, but pretty much anything that you think you want to do, you should be able to do. And if you can't, you should definitely send a question in, because again, the developer is very, very active, and he's constantly tweaking the website in order to make it more user-friendly and to give people the tools that they want to use and do in order to make the trip planning as easy as possible. I don't know, how many people listen to GeoGearheads? By the way, go to their booth is somewhere, I think, over there. I think they wanted people there at like 11 to 3 or something like that, putting a little plug in. Anyway, if you go, all of their podcasts are on their website. And back on the 17th, I was actually on GeoGearheads talking about Cachetur, so it was a full hour. You can actually go and you'll get a little bit more in depth about that. And then if you just search YouTube Cachetur, there's the PowerPoint presentation that I use to do my 2-hour hands-on class is actually available as a YouTube video. And I think that it's in the show notes for GeoGearheads as well. It's a 650 meg PowerPoint. You're more than welcome to download it if you wanted to have it on your computer as well. But it is a really powerful website. And for any of you that are doing road trips or just caching trips around your local area, I really highly commend it. It really, for anybody who previously used Microsoft Streets and Trips, it's very similar to that insofar as it gives you your route. It's not going to give you your turn-by-turn directions, but how many people use TripTics and printed turn-by-turn directions? Do you really? People still do that? You do not. I know for a fact you do not. I'm married to you. So it doesn't give you the turn-by-turn directions, but it does, once you have that, it'll calculate the route just like Google Maps would, and then you've got your cache order, and then you can go from there. So if you're using a Garmin, and that's the other thing, is it will allow you to download a GPX file of all of your waypoints, so that you can load that right onto whether it's your Nuvi or to your handheld GPS. And then the other thing that I really like, how many people use caches along a route pocket queries? Okay, so Cachetur will allow you to download a GPX file of your route so that you can upload that route into the geocaching.com pocket query, and then you can expand and pull in all the caches that you're going to pass along the way. And so a lot of times, and this is my biggest frustration with caches along the route, is you hit that 1,000 cap in no time, right? Well, when you're planning your trip, you can switch from a driving component to a walking component, back to a driving component, so you can actually get a sense of how far you're going to be hiking to some of those caches, which is nice. As long as the OSM map has the trail, it'll be able to tell you how far of a hike it is. Well, each of those segments will actually show up when you upload that route. And so you can actually say, oh, okay, let me just do this first driving segment because I might be able to get to fall under that 1,000 cap, and then I upload it again. Oh, I'm just going to do the next 2 segments. So you can actually very easily play with it and quickly get all the caches along the route. So I think Wendy's been going around. So she has some Cachetur swag. We got some pens if you're super lucky, and a sample trip so you can see what the printout is. So find Wendy if you're super lucky. I think that there's a GeoCoin unactivated in there. There are maybe 2 pack tags, so some pens, some pins, some buttons, and hopefully this gave you a little bit of information for something that you probably hadn't heard of or maybe not played around with it too much. If you're in or around the Maryland area on June 16th, we are doing another class, and I know that Rich is planning to do some, and I'm sure that Wendy will be planning to do some out west as well. And I'll be around, so feel free to find me. Once again, I'm platoaddict, so you can feel free to message me on geocaching.com. I've received some support requests that way, and I'm happy to help you guys out or answer any questions you might have. So I think that's my 20 minutes, and I'm done. Enjoy the rest of the day, and welcome to the first Giga.